Well, hello there, and welcome to the Dancing Deplorable show. I'm back, and I have a lot to talk about. I've been gone for 2 months. I got viciously attacked by a dog on June 22nd, and I have been trying to get well ever since. Had a bout with an infection that they didn't find until 2 months later, and they got that out, and I'm finally getting my legs sewn up Tuesday. I'll get a boot, and I can actually go back to work probably within the next week to 2 weeks. I have not been generating any income, and if it hasn't been for the generosity of others, I would have starved to death. And if it wasn't for my son actually being here at the time, him being in between places, he moved to Maine already. If he hadn't been here, I wouldn't have had anybody to take care of me. Nobody would have took care of me. Nobody would have helped me. Nobody asked me, not until recently anyways. And that's okay. I was perfectly okay in my misery, because that's all I could do for 2 months was be in misery and not being able to do anything to support myself, provide for myself, pay my rent, pay my bills, or buy food. Thank God for food stamps, which I'm going to work on trying to get myself removed from everything government. I will start going through the process of removing myself from the Social Security Administration, and I will be obtaining all of my monies back to me instead of the government. So I'm going to be starting that, and I will be doing a separate setup for that. Now, I'm on YouTube tonight, only because I don't have the money to stream on multiple platforms, but I'll eventually get there. I shaved all my hair off because I got sick of not being able to take a shower, not being able to take a bath, just because of I'm not a contortionist. And even taking a bath is quite the struggle when you have one leg that you can't get in the water. And I have a leg pumped up to it right now for getting out the gunk and stuff. But that comes off tomorrow, I think. And then surgery on Tuesday. So I'm back, and things are different. A lot different. I know where I'm going. I know what path I'm on. Do you know what path you're on? Are you sure? What does your fruit show? What is your fruit like? Is it good fruit? Or is it rotten fruit? Because if it's rotten, it's going to get stinky after a while. People are really going to notice. But what I like is the fact that God likes to show me people's fruit loud and clear. Loud and clear. One thing that I don't like, I know it's God, because I don't have the capacity to know anything. I'm not a mind reader. I'm not a psychic. If anything is given to me in that capacity, good, God, bad, Satan. So if it's good, it's from God. If it's bad, it's from Satan. So I know that some people think that my fruit is bad because of my living situation. But I really don't care what they think, because I know where I am with God. And I'm accountable to God first before anyone else, regardless of who you are or what you have control in my life or not. But I cannot get through any conversation with anybody anymore without taking it to God, because I have the propensity for evil. God doesn't. So I know that my heart can be corrupted. And if I don't go to God with it every day, every moment, moment by moment, it has the propensity for evil. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be a part of this world. This world sucks. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see. Obviously, there's no comments because nobody's viewing it. And I really don't care at this point if anybody does. All I know is I'm supposed to be doing this right now, here and now. I've been called and I'm starting it right now. And the enemy has been thwarting me since December, trying to take me out. Completely take me out. Multiple, 3 times already this year, my life has been jeopardized by things that are out of my control. But thank God, God is in control. God is in control of me, and I lose that sometimes because of my free will and my need to whatever still be in control of things, which is a joke because all of us suck at this world, because this world is not for us. This is the world that the enemy has right now, and he stole our birthright. But what I'm starting is, and I know I keep doing that, hey, I'm going to start this, hey, I'm going to do this show, hey, I'm going to do that show, and I start doing it, but then God tells me that that wasn't what He wanted me to do. So that's why nothing has really stuck but from God. There isn't any other um, way to look at it for me anymore, because um, I know prayer works. These are so dirty, I can't even see through them. Let me clean them a little better. I know that was gross, but whatever. Don't care. Okay. All right. Now I can see. How do you like my lighting? Oh, I think my camera moved. There we go. There we go. So look at me. 170 pounds last year. Now I weigh 112. Oh, yeah. Because I don't have a car. And I wasn't able to get to the grocery store for over a month after my son left. And I've come to a point in my life to where some people I just won't ask help from. And that is what it is, and I'm okay with it, and I'd rather starve. But I can tell you that my body is rebuilding itself. Fresh, new cells, new tissue, new everything. Because God made our bodies to do that, to repair themselves. But see, nobody tells us that. Church doesn't tell us that. Science definitely doesn't tell us that, because they wouldn't make any money in the medical field if we knew that God has made our bodies with a repair mode and a reset mode. I'm not even kidding. And if you want to know about it, all you got to do is fast. All you got to do is start fasting and talking to God about that. Because what happens with fasting, and I did it for a strictly health reason, not spiritual. So I was not in it on that plane of being spiritual. And in a way, I wish I would have, but I'm glad I did it because it enabled me to see how that all works together, um, and what actually happened when I did fast, and what happened to my body. And as you can see, fat is gone. I maybe have, I don't even know what my percentage is at this point. I don't care. I just know that I'm on the road to recovery, and that coming out of this valley of the shadow of death where I live, um, I cannot even begin to tell you how excited I am to see what God has for me next, because this has been hell for the past 4 years. No, 5 years. Um, just trying to figure things out, um, between me and God. And my fellowships with other people. And I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to call them friendships anymore because I'm not going to be looking for friends anymore unless God sends them to me or shows them to me as being worthy to be my friend. Because I'm not giving anything away anymore for free. And I don't mean that weirdly. I just mean I'm not going to be doing the things that I've done in the past for people. I won't be doing them in the future. It's all about God now. It doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm irrelevant at this point. And that's the way I want it. And I think that because I've had that mindset, I think in some ways I'm affected by it because I let it get to me. Instead of realizing that when people attack me the way that they do, they're actually attacking God. And the reason I say this is because I take everything to God. Everything. Everything to God. And it's like right now, I can hear people having sex upstairs, and I just think it's funny that people can go and kick God to the curb and do what they want, and not thinking that they have consequences for it. Um, and I know that everything that comes out of my mouth, I'm accountable for. And I know that if I have a problem with something or someone, I take it to God every time. There's no mixing. There's no mixing anything. I don't have ulterior motives. I don't um, wish for other people to be hurt. Um, I'm just tired of living with people, I think. And I'm not just talking about the people I live with right now. I'm talking about in general, just having roommates. It's always, it's just time for me to be on my own, in my own space, instead of under people's rules and regulations and authority. Because I don't do well with authority, except God's authority. And I've been trying to get better about that. Or are you trying to help? Because there is a distinction between those. But where I'm going, I have to be innerly evaluated daily because of what I'm getting ready to get into is serious business, God business. And I take it seriously, serious, more serious than anything I have ever done in my life. And where I'm going with this, and I'm just doing a short one tonight to just kind of drop it out there. Um, I'm going on an intercessory prayer mission because I know through my own research and my own understanding that being a person of intercessor means that you're in the gap, that you putting yourself in the gap to pray for others, not yourself. An intercessor prays for others to be to encounter God, to receive the benefits of God, to receive the blessings of God, to receive the mercy and the grace of God. So we as intercessors have to stand in the gap. We were made for this. God has given us the tools to be successful at this. And I know some of you that will watch this will know that, sorry, it's really distracting when you got to listen to rabbits trying to copulate in the background by squeaky floors and squeaky beds. But it is what it is, and I really don't care anymore because Satan doesn't have that control over me anymore. I'm not driven by sex. I don't need sex. I would like a companion. That would be wonderful. But I don't need one. I have God. And I think that's very interesting. Hello, whoever's joined. I think it's interesting that people try to negate sex as a human condition, and it's not. Um, it's meant for people that are to be together for life, not this person. Oh, well, let's get married and we'll move over here. Oh, let's get married and we'll move over here. Oh, let's get married and move over here. The world has taught us how to do all of that. And that isn't what God had planned for us. But this intercessory, hi, Jennifer. How are you? I said in the beginning I've been gone because I got attacked by a dog 30 stitches later. That's where I've been. I've been trying to get better, and I'm finally better. I go in for surgery on Tuesday to get it closed again, so I'm ready for it to be healed and be done. So welcome, Jennifer. So nice to see you. But I'm talking about, I know I've talked about a lot of things that I've been, no, I was heading to work that day and on my bicycle and got video of it too. And court is tomorrow for the dog. But just got attacked on my bicycle on the way to work. Didn't even make it to work that day. And my son was here. It was incredible that he was here and he took care of me for a couple of weeks. And I was super thankful for that. But anyways, what I'm here for today, I just wanted to jump on because God has me on a new thing. Well, it's kind of been, I've been trying to do it for probably a couple of years now, but it just never seemed to. I kept thinking that I was supposed to have somebody with me. Hello, whoever else joined. I was supposed to have somebody, I thought I was supposed to have somebody else with me doing it too, but I'm finding out that I'm just supposed to do it and start doing it. So where I'm going is intercessory prayer. And because I believe that we are we are those people that are standing in the gap for everyone else, by praying for people and being their only lifeline to God, at this point, because some people just don't. Um, but what intercession means and involves, it says, and I looked up a lot of things in Strong's number 6293 as an intercessor. It says intercession involves reaching God, meeting God, and entreating Him for His favor. And that means that we're praying to the Father in supplication for another. Because sometimes some people don't have anybody in the gap for them. And that's where we come in, that we provide that, and that we are there for our friends and our family that stand in the gap for them. And even unbelievers. And when you're praying on an intercessory level, it can be very broad and quite I see that the screen glitches, so I just wait until it stops glitching. Um, I think, I've been making notes along the way. How are you, Jennifer, by the way? How you been doing? One of the things I wrote down for prayer for intercessory: search us, O God, and know our hearts today. Cleanse us from every sin and set us free. Amen. And I put down here, do you take everything to God? I do. Good and bad? I do. You should be. I know I do. I have to. I can't get through a day without God. I just can't. Knowing God is part of our walk. If you are not seeking God's face in His throne room, then maybe you are doing it not the right way. I don't know. I never knew you. This is the exact reason some people just don't get it. If your fruit doesn't match the fruit of the Spirit, then yes, we're doing it wrong. If you got rotten fruit, you need to look at that. How are you treating people? How are you talking to people? How are you communicating or not communicating? I think that's some people's problem, is they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to be accountable for themselves, as far as when you're wrong, you need to say you're wrong and you need to fess up and be accountable for it. And I've had to deal with somebody for the past 3 years that hasn't done any of that along the way at all. I've never had an apology for anything. And I've been wronged many, many times. Um, but it is what it is. And moving along, some of the things I think that's interesting is how the words are used for the intercessor. When you're praying for other people and standing in the gap, excuse me, words like to break forth, break down. Standing in the gap is a metaphor committed intercession. Restore. We're called to restore. Turn back, return, turn away, repent, turn, restore, bring back, retrieve, reverse. It's quite interesting. We're also repairers of the breach, the wall. We standing in the gap of the wall and repairing that wall. And solidifying. Right there with you, Jennifer. It's and thank you for sharing that, because I'm finding I'm finding it interesting that so many people profess to know God and they don't know God. Not one bit. They are not. There's no good fruit. There's only just that stuff, you know. And I just want to be in a place again that I just want to be by myself, so that I can worship and pray and praise God the way that I am intended to and made for, not being subjected to other people's rules, house rules, and um, things like that. And it's like everybody's you got rules. Hey, that's fine. You know, it would just be nice to know rules instead of being doors banged on and told to whatever. But it is what it is. I'm just glad I'm moving very soon, by October 22nd to be exact. Actually, um, yeah, that's a whole nother story. It's all God though. Yeah. Um, I'm also finding that to be an intercessor, you have to know, and this is anything, Jen, and I encourage you to, because I have to, and when I forget, I get hammered. Like today. Today's my birthday, and my sister picked me up for my birthday today to take me to lunch. And as soon as I got in the car, I felt agitated, and I wasn't sure why. And I thought, gosh, what's wrong with me? Well, then we started to drive, and I figured it out. My sister was agitated. She started talking, and I don't even remember what it was. I was just happy to get out of the house, be heading to lunch. And yeah, faith over fear. Yeah, I have to learn that one really quick. Get agitated and fearful over some things. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. My son hasn't even wished me a happy birthday yet, but that's okay. It is what it is. But so yeah, so during this ride to the restaurant, my sister, everything that I had to say or talk about just sent her off. Everything. I mean, it wasn't, and I didn't have a raised voice, just talking normal like this. And even when she went off on me, I would still talk like, well, what I was trying to say was, this is what I was trying to say. And so it just kind of got worse. Then we got to the restaurant, and it did get worse. And then my sister told me that she was in a lot of pain, and I'm like, well, why are we here? You should have not have come. And she's all, it's your birthday. I'm like, I don't care. If you're in pain, you shouldn't have come. I wouldn't tell anybody to do that if it was my birthday or not. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So as soon as she told me that she was in so much pain, all I did was offer to pray with her and talk about sending her through the roof. Everything that my mom did to her at church did to her, she just took it out all on me. And I did none of that to her. None of it. Other than being a person that went to the same church. But I never did those things to her. And she just vehemently said no, and then went off why, and then just went off in the restaurant. And I had had enough. And I'm like, you know what, sis? I'm done with this conversation. I said, you have been vehemently throwing things back at me since I got in the car. And lunch was pretty much ended. We packed up our stuff. She took me home. And I don't know where I'm going with it. More than likely, I doubt that I will be talking to my sister for a very long time. And I forgive her, and I've already done that. But it still hurts. And I gave it to God. But I'm right back there again. I don't trust anybody, especially family and friends, or people that say that they're friends. Because I'm now a fruit sorter. I sort fruit. I sort good fruit from rotten fruit. And when I see rotten fruit, I get it out of there because that's not what I'm about. I'm not about passing around rotten fruit to people. I want to pray for you. I mean it. And her whole thing with flipping out was the Holy Spirit and talking in tongues and doing all the laying on of hands and all the stuff the vineyard did and da 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 da. And when all I wanted to do was hold her hands and pray with her for God's peace, mercy, grace, healing. That's all. I wasn't going to speak in tongues. I wasn't going to lay hands. I just wanted to hold my sister's hand, tell her that I love her, and pray for her. And she said, no. So what that tells me, Jennifer, I'm doing it right. Because when they do that to us, they're doing it to God. And it tells me where they are with God. Because if you truly were with God and speaking to God every day and every moment, you would never talk to me like that. I'm one of the anointed. We don't talk to each other like that. We don't treat each other like that. We have truth and respect, dignity and accountability. We don't point fingers. I ain't about bad fruit anymore. I lived a life of bad fruit, especially in the LGBTQ community. Oh, Jennifer, I found somebody else that's an ex-lesbian on TikTok. And she's been so blessed by God. I'm just starting to talk to her. So I'm like anxious to see. I think I might try and have her on a show. And her and I have a discussion about things that we've had to go through with the LGBTQ community and the straight community. That's, yep, they would not attack if they were truly, truly seeking God's face for everything. Because I can't get through a conversation with myself and not be accountable for my thoughts. Because I don't want to be evil and wicked or have the propensity of evil anymore. We all have the propensity of evil, and if we choose not to do that, then we're choosing to follow God. And I think that's the big step right there, is choosing God over everything else. Yeah, I really, to be honest with you, Jennifer, I haven't seen. I've seen a few gay men. They've talked about it, but it may open. You're right. It may open up a door that would be a giant door to the truth, especially with the transgender community and the lies that they're being told. And what's really bad about the transgender community, not them, It's what's being done to them medically. What the medical field doesn't tell transgenders is that you don't, if especially if you're getting a sex change before puberty, if you remove your parts, you will not be able to reach anything sexually. You will be forever castrated. That's basically what you will be, is castrated if you choose to be transgender. There won't be a way, there won't be anything that is transformative from one to the other. If you take one thing off, something can't be replaced and work the same way. Period. Ever. Ever. And it's very, very sad, especially for children, because they will never, ever know what it's like. And then the ones that are de-transitioning are waking up to that horror, and it's just such a big lie. The whole LGBTQ community is a false front, because as soon as you're in, then they start brainwashing you that all straight people are bad and that all Christians are bad. When I never stayed away from that, I never rebuked, I never let that be taken from me. When I went into the LGBTQ community, I was still a Christian. I still had morals and values, even though I was living in sin in that particular way. I still had my morals and values. And that's what excommunicated me from the LGBT community, is because they didn't like that. I still held those values and morals. And I was the pariah to them. But see, what I did was I would call out their evil and wickedness, especially out in a public forum, like the whole LGBTQ community. They all want your partner, whether you're married or not. They want to tap it, and they will do anything and everything they can do to get it, no matter what. No matter what. They will do anything to bed your spouse or your significant other at any cost. And their level of um, depravity has no bottom. Think about that one. Absolutely no bottom. It's a bottomless pit. It can only get deeper and darker and more evil. And it's a bottomless pit. And that's what's so bad about having to deal with that community, is because it's a generated thing of orgies and manipulating people, dominating people, and intimidating people to get what you want. Trying to be cool. It's not working though, because I'm too skinny and scary. Ah! See, look at, I'm like, talk about, and I'm losing all my fat skin. It's like I had wings down. I had wings down to here. Now I just have little tiny wings, and I ain't got no rolls. A roll is a roll, and a toll is a toll. And if we don't get no tolls, we don't get no rolls. Let me see if I have. Let me see if I have a video. Oh, I don't. I need to download. I need to download one for that. Jennifer, that one's so funny. Um, Comments. Okay. They are satanic evil demons ruling this world and attacking those of us who are close to God. Yeah, it's the battle is definitely on, and it's a spiritual war for our minds, because that's the battlefield. It's the battlefield for our minds. And that's where standing in the gap comes in. And also, where I was getting to on the next part, what I wanted to cover was about the armor and how important the armor is. I mean, today, I forgot the armor, just like I did the day I got attacked by the dog. That's the last day that I didn't pray for my armor. That day was June 22nd, and I've prayed every day since today for that armor, and I forgot to pray the hedge and the armor today, and all that happened. And it was just um, worst birthday ever. Worst birthday ever. And in a way, I'm kind of glad, because I'm not going to celebrate them anymore. I don't think they're supposed to be celebrated. I don't think they're supposed to be anything like that. And I really don't want to be tied to it like that anymore, to let it be able to do that to me. So now I think um, I'll figure something else out. I have, I think my tan is still from when I was like working, doing my gardener, my guy, my job has been holding my job for me this whole time. And I'm just a gardener, and he's hired help online from Craigslist. That's where he found me. And he could easily find somebody else. Yet he didn't. He's been waiting for me because he knows that I care about the job. And I think I'm probably going to miss out on the entire season of seeing how beautiful it became, of the work that I put in there. But I'm hoping that I do get back and I do get a chance to get some work and at least prepare the plants for the winter, so that he will have plants to come back to, next season, because I know I'm hired for next season. Oh, Jennifer, guess where I'm going to apply for a job, and I know I'm going to get it. I'm so excited because I love to drive. I have been the one thing that I've had such a blessing through all of this 2 months of Jennifer. Girl, you have no idea what I've been through these past 2 months. Just with the medical field, I had 2 months of wound care, at home wound care, that I had to change my dressings myself, which I'm very queasy person with blood and cuts and things like that. So that in itself was trauma. But I had wound care Wednesday. So wound care Wednesday consisted of going in and having them manipulate my wound and um, fix me up till the next week. And then from week to week, I had the infection in my leg for 2 months, and they didn't find it until the second month. So pain was constant, 24/7. I couldn't put pressure on my foot. I couldn't do anything. I've been on crutches for 2 months. Oh, and I cut all my hair off because I'm tired of taking a bath in the sink, because taking a shower or a bath is for a contortionist or someone that doesn't have a pump hooked up to their leg. It's just been a mess. But the most terrifying experience I've ever had in my entire life was when I had the first surgery that they found the abscess in my ankle. And I went in for surgery and they removed the abscess. And then they left my wound open, packed the wound. And now, mind you, my infection had been 2 months. So my leg had been in pain and swollen for 2 months. Okay. So when I went in for surgery, of course, they put me out. And then the next day, and of course, I felt fine that night, had pain pills, whatever. They told me to take a pain pill before I come in the next day. Did that. Took it a little too early, so that was all messed up. But that was their fault, not mine. So when I went in the next day to get wound evaluation, they probably heard me screaming outside. I They sent me through the roof that day. And then had the gall to tell me that I needed to be more respectful of the people that were in the rooms around me. And you know what I told them, Jennifer? I don't give one fuck what people think in the rooms around me, nursey. Oh, I was pissed. So that traumatized me for the next visit the next week. No, I'm sorry. Then they had me on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday wound care. So after that Wednesday, that next day, Thursday, I was tormented thinking about Friday after what I went through on Wednesday. Talk about trauma. Oh my God. I can't thank God enough for being my rock through all this. I learned so much. One thing I learned, Jennifer, I am so happy for and thankful for. I know how to take care of wounds now better than they do. I know what to look for. And the thing that got me the most about the whole thing, Jennifer, was I told them there was something wrong with my ankle the whole time. Every Wednesday, there's something wrong with my ankle. And guess where they found the infection? I did a TikTok on it. It's funny. Well, imagine that. Imagine that. Oh, you found it in my ankle. Well, what do you know? I've been telling you over 10, maybe 100 times. My ankle hurts. I can't do anything with my ankle. How come? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Did they ever look at it? No. Yeah. And it's being weird. Okay, there it is. Being a gardener, Jennifer. Yes, I am totally a gardener. I'm a steward. That's what we're here for. That's what Adam was. That's what he was. They were gardeners. I take it very seriously. It's my one connection that I go to every day and I see God the whole time. That's the only job I've ever had that I see God the entire time I'm at work as a gardener. I love it. But as a taxi driver, that's what I was going to tell you about before. The job as a taxi driver is because that has been my way to communicate and witness to people was all these taxi drivers that pick me up because I'm on the Medicaid thing or the Medicab where I get free rides to the medical. Thank God. I'd be screwed. I couldn't rely on anybody for that. Nobody. Nobody's been there for me, let's put it that way. Except my son when he was here. He was the only one that was there for me through all of this. Nobody has been there for me until recently with my sister. And that was the other surgery, but I don't know if I'm going to have her back for the other one this week because I can't do that. whatever she's in, that's not where I'm at. And I just can't do that. But the taxi drivers, I have had the best conversations with taxi drivers the past 2 months. I have witnessed to people, I've pissed off people, I've given knowledge to people, I've gotten knowledge from people. I've been talking about parasites, I've been talking about God, I've talked about everything across the board. And I have most of them researching stuff because we've gotten into a conversation of like mindedness, and they have told me their stuff, and I'm like, I'm right on board with you on this one. I understand. And then they take my information and go, I am totally on board with that. I understand. I'm going to research that. And it is very profound to see how God is working with my limited ability to get away from here, to be out in public, and to see Him just go, pow, 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 every time I get in the car. And then there's always those people that they just don't like me because I don't comply and I don't accept it when they tell me no. And I tell them differently, no, I don't want you to go that way. I want you to go this way. I'm the payee. I pay you. You don't tell me. You're the taxi driver. Yes, you have an address, but I don't want you to go that way. I want you to go this way. I don't want to go through town. That's not town. Yes, it is. I don't want to go through there. And it was like a right turn or a left turn. And then the street was right there. And then her right turn was just to go. It was like this, one way or the other. 20 feet difference. 20 feet difference. And I told her, no, you go the way I'm telling you to go. She did not like that. She did it. And she argued with me the whole time. And then I got close to my house and I said, oh, right up here. And I thanked her and I said, thank you very much. You have a wonderful day. I appreciate the ride. And left it at that. But I'm not putting up with the dominating, the intimidating, or the manipulation anymore from anybody. Yeah. So taxi, that's what I'm going to apply for, is to be a driver, taxi driver, because it's great. And I know now that, well, if they can have an attitude with me, then I'm okay. I can have an attitude with some people too and still get them where they need to go. I also don't have to talk to them. It's not a requirement. So I'm okay. I'm totally cake. Taxi driver, cake job. Gardener, balance. Outdoors with God. In a car, driving, which I love to do. And it would be like nights or weekends. And then during the winters for taxi. And then as a gardener during the seasonal, I'll be doing that full time and then go taxi part time. In the winter, do taxi full time and other stuff part time. Um, yeah, yeah, they didn't listen to me at all. I'm reading up on your comments, Jen. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up on them, but I'm still getting used to being back here. Um, yes, I have a wound vac. Oh, and yes, F them, totally. Well, in some senses, they have been there for me. They've listened to me. They've done what I've asked them to do. They've provided me with supplies. I had no money to buy anything. They even, I said, can you prescribe me ibuprofen and Tylenol? I don't do opioids, which I'm on now because I had to, because of the intense pain and surgery that I had to go through. And I praise God that I actually do have them, because Tylenol and ibuprofen wouldn't have been able to um, get me through that. But as I went, and to get back to the trauma thing that they put me through, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, that Wednesday to Friday, when I went in, it was much easier that Friday. And then by Monday, it was much easier. And then Wednesday, it was like completely different. And then yesterday or Friday was, I'm ready. I'm done. That's why they're doing the surgery. on Tuesday. So, because everything is, they're still pushing out a little pus, but it's on the outside instead of the inside because I can't feel it inside anymore. I could feel it before, all of it. All of the infection, I knew exactly where it was. I could feel it. I knew where it was. And they didn't listen to me. Um, Hospitals, yeah. And I was more worried about getting sepsis or a staph infection than I was anything else because of the incompetency. And let me tell you why. I went into the ER in between my Wednesday to Wednesday wound care. I went to either urgent care or emergency room every single week because it nobody I was having problems and I couldn't see anybody at the doctor's, so I had to go to emergency every time or urgent care. So, yeah, it has not been a fun trip. I hope the dog gets euthanized. I'm sorry, but I have no good feelings for this dog of wickedness and evil. I've got video of Jennifer, and I might, after court tomorrow, I may post the video and show everybody that video. And the audio, I had to mute the audio on it because I couldn't listen to myself screaming. But I don't know if I want to listen to that part. But I think I may share it just because people need to know that there are wicked people out there that profess to be patriots and profess to be good people and profess to be God-fearing. And they are not. They have wicked, evil dogs that go and do these things. And what I found about this dog was that, let me tell you how weird this is, Jennifer. My roommate knows the dog owner because when she took me to work one day, she pointed out this house to me, and the lady was in the yard walking across, and she's like, "Oh, that's where that lady lives." She was in a group that my roommate had, and there were some issues. But she was like, "Ooh, don't watch out for that one," is what she told me. And then when I went to court to the hearing to see who the dog owner was, it was her. So now my roommate told me that she has a friend that used to live with the dog owner and the dog and has seen on multiple occasions the dog attack and bite other people. And on the documents for the court hearing tomorrow, I'm listed as the first offense of the dog. So it's going to be interesting. Let's see. They didn't listen to you, they know it all, and you had to suffer. Yep. All in all, Jennifer, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about a lot of things that um, yeah, yeah, nobody understands people of God because we have God as our number one focal point. And when you have God as your number one focal point, you don't have the world as your focal point anymore. So you're not in this world anymore, and you're set apart. And I'm trying to catch up on you. I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention. I'm really just adamant about some of the things that I'm talking about. They want us to brainwashed eating bugs, owning nothing, and liking it. Yeah. They are satanic evil demons ruling this world and attacking those of us who are close to God. Oh, let's see. I'm catching up. I'm catching up. Hospitals are very scary these days, aren't they? They seem like nobody in healthcare. Oh, what I was going to say is when I went into the ER, one of the guy nurses that came in to assist me, I was trying to explain the type of padding it was for dry wounds, and they needed to give me something for a dry wound versus a wet wound. So, and they just didn't get it. So they brought in this pad, and he takes it out of the package, and he makes me feel it, and I'm feeling it, and he's feeling it, and neither one of us have gloves on, and then he starts to put that on my lip. And I'm like, are you for real? You need to go get a fresh one in a fresh package and be wearing gloves and nobody touches it? Don't you? As I questioningly looked at him. He got pissed off, huffed up, chest puffed out, and walked out of the room to go get another one. All pissy. Man. Pissy. Tofu man. So that was quite the rude awakening. I'm like, we have an ER nurse that physically took a wound care bandage out of a package, handled it without gloves, then had me handle it without gloves, and then was going to put it on my wound. Talk about staph infection. I'm like, no, sir. He was so pissed. I was pissed. Oh my God, I can't even tell you. It was kind of funny. Let's see. Yes, I still have an open wound and it's packed, but now it's like, the flesh is healing and everything is normal. So when they take the stuff off, I'm not, screaming in agony anymore. I think the thing that hurts the worst is them taking the tape off because I have no hair left and no skin left, certain layers, because of so much tape and so much of that. I can't wait to just have where I can just scrub it with soap and a washcloth. And they were manhandling me Friday, and I was like, oh, that feels so good. Do it some more. More. Rub it more. Oh, that feels good. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that feels good. They were laughing. And I was laughing because it was funny. I'm like, I love you guys right now. I can feel my leg. No, you're right. It's not the dog's fault at all. And I hope that what happens to the dog is it gets taken from the owner and in hopes of trying to rehabilitate it and fix it. I hope that's what happens. Um, I truly do because it's the owner's fault. And the fact that the owner has mental problems, um, that says a lot. And knowing that your dog has a problem and not fixing it or getting it help, that's a mental issue in itself. That's why the dog needs to be taken from the owner because she didn't have the right mind to know that her dog is a threat and needs to be fixed or death if it can't be fixed because it's a menace to the community. There are children that ride their bikes down the road that I got attacked on. There are joggers that run, horses that ride, people that ride the horses up and down the street. It's a bad situation. And as soon as this court hearing is tomorrow, either they're going to give me restitution or they're going to do a court case about restitution. So I'll either get restitution tomorrow or a court case will be made by the judge to go from this point to the next point. And that's where my lawyers come in because I actually found some lawyers that would represent me. And I have an appointment with them on the 30th. And the dog owner's screwed because I have video, audio, and a sworn statement from a witness that has witnessed other bitings and attacks from the same dog. So it's going to be interesting. But I figured I'll besides the $3,000 that I put in for the restitution for first, last, and last in deposit to move, because I got evicted during all this. So add that in too, Jennifer. You cannot tell me that God does not want me out of here. I'm just praying that He opens the door. And possibly, hopefully, I can be by myself. Because I'm ready to worship God in my own way and not have restrictions of roommates putting things on me. Not being able to pray and be in my own space. trust me, truly its owner. If you were able to see behind the scenes, you would see a lot about the owner. Oh, I know a lot about the owner already because of my roommate knows her from the group and her mental capacity within the group. And she wasn't in the group anymore because of a mental incident that happened with her and the entire group. And she removed herself from the group. So there's some, and this is a patriot. This is a patriot. And not all patriots believe in God, but I'm tending more that they do, because I mean, if there's witches and warlocks pretending to be Christians in the church, then why wouldn't people pretend to be Christians? Yeah. So oh yes, absolutely in God's hands. And like I said, it's like he got me through all this. He got me through all this without killing anyone. I would never kill anyone, but you know how we get. We just like, we get so into the terror of the pain that you want to lash out. And I even threatened my doctor. I'm like, dude, if you do that again, I'm going to kick you. Because he ripped scabs off like after the first, I don't know, month or whatever. It was at a point to where he just went in and he's like, oh, let's just take that off. And he just fucking ripped them off. And I was like, dude, I wouldn't do that again if I were you. I will kick you. So, and then I told him about my mom and her bad bout with anesthesia, and that she actually did kick a nurse in the face. I'm like, Doc, is that what you really want? I'm just glad I'm not like that with anesthesia. And it was funny because they asked me, the anesthesiologist, had questions to ask me. And I'm like, yeah, my mother had problems, but I don't have problems with anesthesia. I know I don't have problems with anesthesia because I've been under 3 or 4 times already. And she was like, oh, what was that for? And I'm like, that's none of your business. She didn't like that. She didn't like that. I'm like, I'm not at liberty to tell you everything, Miss Nursey Nurse. All I need to tell you is that I'm okay with anesthesia, and I know I'm okay with anesthesia. I don't have a problem. They don't like it when you know your body. They don't like it at all, and I know my body. And it was like, oh, my sister, boy, the nurse pissed off my sister. Because they can put the anesthesia either in your hand or in your arm. And the nurse that I had was incompetent. And she blew out a vein trying to put it in my hand. And talk about, I can't handle blood stuff anyways. So I don't look. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to know it. Just hurry up and get it done. Well, she made it bigger and badder and worse than it ever could be. And then as soon as that happened, I guess somebody else came in right away and went to the other side, distracted me from the witch on the right, and the nurse on the left took care of me and hooked me up in my arm. Boom, bam, boom. It was done. Didn't feel nothing. I was in. She was doing everything. I was able to deal with it while this hand was freaking out. And the nurse was telling, why are you? I'm like, you're lucky that hand isn't going up towards your neck, lady. Look at my arms. Look at that. I cannot believe what God has done to me. I am turning into a machine. I cannot believe this, Jennifer. I was so fat last year, and 2020, I weighed 240 pounds. 2020. And I weigh 115 pounds, and I probably weigh less than that now. But I am getting back because I'm getting my protein. I went to the store. I finally got groceries. I'm eating again, that kind of thing. Because once my son left, I had no way to get to the store. I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk on my crutches. The bus stop is a mile away. and I had no taxi money. I've been stranded. So it's been hell. Yeah, that if I would have been in the hospital and stuck in the hospital, I would have asked for one too. I would have asked for a Bible too. So, um, listen, Jennifer, there is a video. Yeah, I totally want to hear it. Here's my email. The dancing deplorable at yahoo.com. Is it going? There it goes. There it is. There's my email. Yeah, I'd love to hear that story. Absolutely. It sounds interesting. Because anytime, yeah. And I find it interesting too that the hotels have Bibles in the drawer. Because I think, and that I believe is because of the suicide rates in hotels. And that's why they do that. And I wonder how that even started. Because that'd be an interesting thing to research. Oh shit. I just touched my eyes and I handled jalapenos earlier. Oh, they're burning. No, not really. Just a little bit. Oh, did I put anything in the freezer? I think I did I? I'm going to search for a drink. I'm getting quite warm. Hold on a second. No, but I probably should. Oh, I'm sorry. You got to see my butt? See my butt? Oh, there it is. Okay. I don't have anything cold there, but I'll work on it. Okay. But there's this video, and it's Grace Ministries. Grace Ministries. And it's about the whole armor. And that's where I was going with leading off of the intercessory prayer, and where I was talking about I forgot to pray for the armor today, is why I got so attacked. That we have to remember to put on the armor and pray for the hedge every single day before we leave our homes. Because it's a spiritual war. It's a battle for our minds. And Satan is going to attack us in any and every way that he can, knowing that our defenses are down. But when our defenses are up, then we have everything together with God so that we can move forward and get things done. And I don't know why I did that. I'm just, it's pretty. I should be a piano player or a hula dancer. I was out the hula dancing with the girls, the children that live here. They're so adorable. I just love the kids. Kids are so amazing. Adults suck. Kids are amazing. But we were out there doing, and I'm totally masculine, and they just giggle. Little girls, they just giggle at me because they see I'm so masculine, but then I do something all feminine. They're all, and I'm all doing the hula thing. But I think men hula dancers are beautiful too. They have their own thing. And I have a Hawaiian friend I should like. She plays the ukulele. She's very good too, and she's an artist. Oh, I think that's what I think God just showed me that. I think that I'm going to promote her artwork on my channel and help her sell her art. I think that would be awesome. She's so amazing. She's the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful gay people I had ever met in my life. And not a compatible partner in any way. We're totally on the same frame. We liked the femmes. We were the butch. We liked the femmes. So butches aren't an option. It's always was the femme. So two butches, that just no, that doesn't fit in our brains. So her and I just adore her. I still do, and I know that she thinks I'm a conservative freak, and she can think whatever she wants, and I don't care because I still love her, and I still appreciate her, and I can't wait to see her again. But Grace Ministries, I can't wait to read it, Jennifer. And I will respond. I'll probably read it before if you send it tonight. I think you're going to resend the one you sent before. So I'll read it later after I get offline. And then I'll respond tomorrow, okay? Because I have quite a big day. But when I get back from court, I still have a wound care. I don't know if it might be later tomorrow day or later. But I will reply, okay? But I will try and read it tonight. But this Grace Ministries and the armor, and I'm going to tie in the intercessory prayer part with the armor because it's imperative. You can't have one without the other. And I think that's why I needed to learn what I needed to learn about the hedge and the armor. And then I needed to learn what I needed to learn about the binding and the loosing. And then I needed to learn and learn about the intercessory prayer by being a person in a group online that in a chat room with other believers that pray, that you saw God work his miracles in the chat room. And knowing that as a collective group to pray, we are mighty in our prayer group because we stand in the gap together. And this is what people don't understand about the unity of Yeshua, is that when we come together in unity to pray, to worship, to praise, to anything to edify God, we're talking when you add one, then you have God, but then you add another person, and Jesus is there. Holy Spirit's already there. So now, with two people, you now have five. Okay? So then all you do is you keep adding more and more people, and it becomes the solid thing that hammers at the enemy and just wipes them out. Just wipes them out through the unity of coming together in the same mindset and professing the same accountability to God and praying specific prayers for people together in unity. God hears us and God responds because that's why Jesus came here, was to provide a way for us to get to the Father, but only through him can we do that. He's the one that's holding the door open to the Father. And this was something that came to me, that God revealed to me a couple months ago, that Yeshua, Jesus, I don't call him by Jesus anymore. That's a made up name. I call him Yeshua. He's the one that made the way. He's the one that shed his blood and his body was broken for us as the ultimate perfect sacrifice. And I just read today that the perfect sacrifice is is a sacrifice that has the heart intent in the right place. Just the outwardly doing a sacrifice, if your heart isn't in it and you're not close to God, it's a worthless sacrifice to God because you're basically giving it to some other God that you worship. Because wherever your heart is, that is where the sacrifice is. And I think that once a person decides to seek the Father's face, that changes everything. It changes everything. And either you go forward and you run into the throne room, or you get tossed around by Satan, by something else. And I don't choose that anymore. I want to be free. I want to be free to praise, worship, and depend on my God. And I'm told to conform, and I'm told to that I'm supposed to do things a certain way, and that I'm supposed to be a certain way, and that I'm supposed to produce a certain way. And that's what I was trying to tell my sister today. And it's like I was trying to talk to her about something very important to me about how I'm following God and not trying to be a part of this world anymore. And she just did not. I'm telling you, Satan was talking through my sister today. Just telling me, oh, well, you have to do that. You have to conform in order to be in this world. And you have to be able to make a job. And you have to be able to make money. And you have to have a place to live. And you have to have a job. And I think that what she did is she went and she told me this. She went and she looked at prices for living, how much it was going to cost to move for me. And she was quite shocked because she didn't see anything for less than $1,100 a month for a one bedroom or studio, really, a studio apartment. And I don't have that kind of money. And if I did, I wouldn't have anything left for anything else. So basically, I'm getting ready to be homeless. And in some ways, it will be better than what I'm dealing with right now. So things are interesting right now. Um, but all I can say is I know what I'm supposed to be doing now, and I'm doing it, and that's why I'm here. And I don't know how many days I did. I was expecting 30 minutes in today, Jennifer, so my apologies. This has gone on way longer. But I think it's going to be interesting. And I'm going to write down some notes about that. I'm going to try and get, her name is Jen, that is this other ex-lesbian on TikTok. I'm going to try and set something up and get her on. And I think that it would be a good thing. And like you said, it would open a door. And I've only seen one other guy talk about being an ex-gay, and but he was with somebody that wasn't gay, on a show that somebody wasn't gay. So he was telling his testimony, his God testimony, but not with another ex-gay person. So yeah, Jennifer, that's really spot on, and I think that you hit it on the head, and that's probably why you were sent here today to see me, to tell me that. That's a good. Oh my God, I stink. It's the It's the um, guess how many rounds of antibiotics I'm on? I'm on round 6 right now, or 5. No, 6. I'm on round 6, and probably getting round 7 on Tuesday. Ow! Ow! My foot's getting sore from wearing band short. Oh, it's probably just because I put that stupid thing on the top. Yeah. So, um, Yeah, my stress. Well, once you start figuring out that you're not the problem and that the people around you are the ones with the problem, and it's like I've never had a problem with communicating. I don't always do it as often as I should, but I've never not done it, and I've never not been accountable. But having to deal with people that don't communicate and aren't accountable, that's hard to live with. Really hard to live with. Um, so yeah, so I'm glad I'm moving. I'm glad I'm moving on, and I'm glad they evicted me. And while my son was taking care of me, we were both trying to stay out of the way just because it was an extra person. They had extra people here and stuff like that. They evicted him too. Gave him a 3 day, and he had to spend basically his money that he was saving to have when he got to Maine. He had to use on a hotel the last 3 days here because they evicted him 3 days before his plane left. They evicted my nurse. They evicted my nurse. And then after my nurse left, 3 days later, they evicted me. Oh, I'm still here. I'm here till October 22nd because I can't do anything. I couldn't even. I mean, I'm just now starting to pack stuff because I had to have my leg elevated. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't stand up for long periods of time, and if I did, that was going to the doctor. That's the only time I was getting out, was going to the doctor, and come back with a swollen leg, and you have to put it up again. So my whole time spent has been with my leg up and iced or medicated or um, they're just getting incapacitated. I haven't been able to do anything. It's been rough. It's been rough, but it's made me go inside and really evaluate things and ask God, what's up, you know, and to depend on Him. And if it wasn't for the generosity of others online, I probably would have starved to death because I was able to. Are you? Oh, yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. And I just don't care anymore about the people that I live with. I mean, I care and I still pray for them and stuff like that, but I thought we were friends, you know? Um, so that was a rude awakening. Friends usually give friends 6 months to a year. Hey, we want to switch things up, but no, we need our space. We want you out now. See ya. And that's okay. God has a bigger and better place for me, and better friends. And don't get me wrong, these people went way above and beyond to help me through some stuff since I've been here. And I thank God for it and told them so and thanked them. I've never not thanked people for helping me, but I definitely won't thank people for hurting me. So now things have changed, and I've taken back my power from the people that I gave it to. So it's moving on for me, and that's fine. And oh, I do have them. I actually, I had a friend online that sent me some olive leaf supplement. And that shit's the best shit. If you haven't gotten any, Jennifer, get some. Olive, let me see, where is it? Let me get it so I get exactly the right name. You can see all my crap now. Don't look behind the curtain. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. The stuff. Super Olive Health. This shit's amazing. This olive leaf is known as one of the most useful single herbs in the herbal kingdom due to its many uses. Super Olive Health supports and promotes a healthy immune, digestive, circulatory, and urinary systems. Take 2 milliliters, approximately a half a teaspoon, 2 times per day. Make sure you add it to water. Don't do like me and dribble under the tongue. I told my friend Red that's what I did. And she's like, oh my God, did your head like start on fire? I'm like, yeah, pretty much. It was like drinking jalapeno juice or something. It was just, it was like, I'm gonna die. So yes, make sure you put it in water. But it's stuff, and I do have probiotics and stuff like that, and I really haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't been taking those, and I should have been. But I have got to tell you that I know I stink because of the antibiotics. Um, I know that I stink from that, but um, yeah, this will be round 6 this week, and my since the beginning of the year, and I think I told you what was happening at the beginning of the year. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Where is it? Where did I put it? There, right here. Good herbs. Let me get where you can see it. Good herbs. Good herbs. Super Olive Health. And I think it's like $30 a bottle. I think it's what it's young Youngevity. Yeah. So really good stuff. Oh man, this hat's hot. My son gave me this hat. Cool. It's like a little bit of leather. No, I think it's just. It's anyways. Back to the armor. So it's going to be intercessory prayer and armor driven. So I'm going to start it as intercessory prayer, but we'll be covering the entire set of armor, including the rear guard, which is God, and then we'll be moving into doing intercessory prayer. I'm not teaching it, I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just doing it. And I'm going to talk about it as I do it. I'm also going to be talking about spiritual mapping, which is intercessory prayer over areas of influence of the enemy and taking those areas back from the enemy and reclaiming them for God and praying God's provision over the area. So we're canceling out the powers and the principalities and bringing in God's kingdom. So that's where I'm going with this. And I'm super excited because I know it's what God wants me to do because of being attacked 3 times to near death experiences. Now, I could have died from the dog attack, either from the infection, I could have lost my leg. If I got off my bike, which I did, to try and put my bike and trying to put my bike between me and the dog was gone. Um, Doing that and getting off my bike, I could have potentially put myself at risk for being even more attacked by the vicious dog. So I could have lost my life or lost my leg. And then at the beginning of the year, I got whatever the word is, I never say it right. But I was digestively screwed from my gut to my anus. I was screwed and I had to figure things out. And I did. And that's when I went on the fast, and God started healing me through the fasting. And that's when I found out about body repair and the reset mode. Because our bodies God made, that's why he talks about it so adamantly about fasting and praying. Because once we get into that fasting and that praying mode, our body changes. It's like it does a 180 and starts in repair mode. Because what happens is you have certain um, goals that you, or goals, certain things that you reach through each day of the fasting. So I was going into the sixth day of my fasting, but the first day never counts, the first 24 hours, because you still have food in your system. So it being the 6 days, it was really only the fifth day. But going into the fifth day of fasting, no food, zero food, zero food. Now I might have had juice. I didn't have any broth either. I may have had juices, but strictly water. Okay. Once I hit that fifth day, and I may have talked about this in another video, but once I hit that fifth day, my body was already in ketosis. But what happens in that fourth and fifth day is your body goes into ketosis and it starts repairing itself by eating all the bad shit. Seriously, I'm not even kidding. Starts with the fat and then it goes cellular. And let me tell you something, it's a reset mode. It eats all the dead brain cells. It eats all the dead tissue in your body. I mean, look at me. There's nothing. I have skin left. I don't have fat. It's skin left from being fat. I am nothing but a machine now. And I'm very weak. I haven't built up that strength yet because I still have tiny muscles. But they're all brand new muscles. Everything is new. All the crap went away. I had things change that I've had problems with for a long time. So it was quite amazing to see how fasting. Oh, and something I found out through research was finding out how much repair actually goes on with fasting. And that when you reach that fourth, fifth, and sixth day and into the sixth day of fasting, your liver can rejuvenate up to 400%. Rejuvenated liver. That means your liver regrows. That's what that means. Are the doctors going to tell us that? You need a liver transplant. Do I, Doc? Do I really? What about fasting? Have you heard anything or done any research on fasting, Doc? What does it say about fasting and the liver? I I feel better, Jennifer, right now than I felt since I was 18. Now, mind you, no, 16, 17, because we didn't have fast food yet. We just had maybe McDonald's, but nobody really ate there that much once in a while. Of course, it wasn't the garbage that it is today, but probably in like 1978, 79, this is what my body type was. That was the last time that I've seen this. And this, there's nothing. I have a six pack in there, and I can feel it. And it's like I have, and the skin, that's like almost gone. I had like fistful. Now I can barely grab it because there's nothing left. It's being fixed. And people don't realize that you don't need to have surgery to fix your skin when you've been fat. You just have to stretch because our bodies are made to repair themselves in any way that we are attacked. It's God. There is no way we came from smudge, gludge, gunk in the ocean. There is no way. There's no way. Can you put the bottom silk back on? Yeah, God is really amazing. And He's so loving and He's so gentle and so understanding. And He's always there. And He's always there. He has been, it's like I've got to paint. I really have. I'm having a need to paint and I don't know what to do about it because I have no place to do that. But I see this, I have these visions, these painting visions. And they're so beautiful and they're so enormous and they're so powerful. Trying to paint God's glory or God's power is going to be an adventure. But it's like I see it in my mind as the most beautiful thing I could ever see. But now I forgot what I was going to say. Satan does this to me a lot. He'll snatch things away that I'm getting ready to talk about. Yeah, it's been, that's one thing that I've said all along the way through all of this since the beginning of the year. And you know, I've not wanted to. Oh, I know what I was going to say now. It's like it's nice to know that God, the vision that I get that I want to paint more than anything, is how I fall into the arms of God and I rest on His shoulder as He holds me. But my feet are still touching here. But my whole body is in God's lap and my feet are touching here. I want to paint that. That's so hard to be in this world when you feel so close to God. But we're stuck here right now, you know? And we do have things that we need to do, which is standing in the gap for others. And I know that's something I can do. And I'm okay with it. And I can do it. And I'm not afraid. Um, because I know God hears me. And I know that when we stand in the gap for others, God shows up because of our faith. And the one thing that I've told God is I've been frustrated and I haven't wanted to be here. But there isn't anything that is going to take me away from Him, that is going to drive me away, that's going to make me turn away, that's going to make me disown God. There's nothing the enemy can do to me that will ever separate me from God again, ever. And I think that my little tiny mustard seed is starting to set some roots. And God's getting ready to move some mountains. Because if I can find others like me, which I think you're like me, you might possibly be like me, Jennifer. If you're like me and learn how to stand in the gap, we're going to be the ones that change this. Not Trump, not Biden, what a joke. Um, Not anyone. God is the only one that's going to change this. Patriots aren't going to change it. The church is not going to change it. So it's going to be us. It's going to be us filling the breach, standing in the gap, and being the ones that are the intercessors. And there's a lady on Rumble. Her name is Laura Sanger. And I think I did one of her videos on one of my other shows here on YouTube. Um, so I might like bring that one up on the next view, next show, and talk about her a little bit more. And it's on the spiritual mapping part, the principalities and powers over an area and reclaiming it back to God, that kind of thing. That's something that I've been interested in for a long time, and just now learning about it. And it's in the intercessory prayer end of it. So that's kind of why it's just coming up now. But it's going to be interesting to see what God's going to do with this, because I know that now I'm where I'm supposed to be just because of the attacks. Um, and knowing that I have to make a plan about the armor and the hedge, and upon waking, um, address God, and upon going to sleep, address God. Because that's how I'm going to stay spiritually awake and protected through all this. Because if we don't pray for those things and we go into the intercessory prayer mode, then we open ourselves up to be infiltrated by the enemy. And I don't want to give the enemy any power or any way to possess anything of me in that sense. So it will be interesting, but I'm really looking forward to it. Let's see. Right. No man or woman, only God with our help. And it's so interesting because every person that I come in contact with, that I try to bring into the fold with me, God says no. God says no every time. Because I keep looking for human acceptance. It's in my genes. And I'm glad that my genes are changing. And that I pray things like, create in me a clean heart, O God. And I take worship to the next level. I can't go to church and worship. I have to start my own worship. Because I'm loud and proud. And I'm David. I have a heart of God like David. And it's overwhelming sometimes, the wisdom and the knowledge that God reveals to me. Like the other day, He showed me how I'm supposed to witness to people. And it's not normal. It is the most not normal way to witness to people I've ever heard in my life. But it was profound. It was the most profound thing God had ever revealed to me. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around it and capture everything that He said and revealed to me. And it's foggy, and I need to get it back because it was huge. It was huge. And it had everything to do with how Jesus, Yeshua, holds the door open for us to the throne room so that we can actually go in and supplicate before God. It's the most amazing thing to be swept up in. I can't begin to tell anybody how excited I am to watch what God's going to do. But learning how to pray and learning how, and not that I'm going by any form or anything, I'm just like praying the hedge and the armor and then standing in the gap. I think those three things are the best things to start with that can move from point A to point B. And it's going to be something like intercessory prayer 101. I don't know, something like that. What did I share? What did I share it, or was it something else that you wanted me to share? I was speaking, didn't pay attention. Um, on that, on what you were speaking of specifically. Anyways. Oh, how are your dogs? Remember the cat was meowing, and then your dogs were freaking out that day. Remember that? That was so funny. That was so funny. Whew. Yeah, that's like that's better. Way to pray. Um, I, I don't. I'm weighing it on the prayer thing. I mean, I've been researching prayers, and actually the Lord's Prayer. That's the one I'll be starting with. But I wrote up a whole prayer thing, and then I had another prayer thing, and I'm gonna add to it, and then I'm gonna have this prayer thing, and then I'm gonna have this prayer thing, hedge of protection. See, hedge of protection. This one, watch what you say. Watch what you say, or no, to watch what you say. Oh yeah, whatever. It's backwards, right? Um, and then things like yearning for God in the midst of distress. Prayer to God in time of trouble. Here in Psalms 42:3, it says, my tears have been my food day and night, while they continually say to me, where is your God? Doesn't the world do that? Where is your God? Right here. This is the temple and the gut. The gut, the heart, the mind. If you've given it all to God, then you're God's. If you've given your heart to God, but you haven't given your mind or your gut to God, the Holy Spirit does not reside in you. Because your gut is what the Holy Spirit uses to guide you. The Father directs the heart. And I believe Jesus must be the head, the spiritual warfare and being able to depend. This is really interesting because this is just coming to me right now, Jennifer, straight from God, that Jesus must be this part. The Father is this part, and the Holy Spirit is our gut. And how they all, pineal gland, the gut, the heart. Because it's really, the pineal gland is the light receptor on how much light we can receive. If you have a dead pineal gland, light cannot get in. Hello? I'm not talking hello to you, Jen. I'm just like to the people out there. If you have a fried pineal gland, how are you going to get the light of God into your body? I believe, I wonder if that's part of the water baptism. Is that through that, that's where God heals the pineal gland, is through our act of commitment to dedicate our lives to God, and that He gives us that healing during that time of our pineal gland so that the light can actually get in. Because if the light can't get in and you get baptized, how are you? Some things really, really tweak my brain. It's just uh, the revelations that I get, and the way that people treat me like I'm crazy. And it's like, I know I'm not, because I take everything to God. How can I be crazy if I take everything to God? But maybe that's what they think is crazy, is because I do take everything to God. And who wants to take everything to God? I've got my deep, dark secrets I have to hide from everybody. I don't. I don't have any. I'm not going to tell people what they are, but God knows what they are. And if it ever comes to a point where it can minister to somebody, I will reveal those things that I struggled with. Because I'm not perfect. I have my struggles just like everybody else. With everything. Relationships, sex, whatever. Everything that food. I was a pig before. I ate like a pig. And people that, I'm not trying to be rude, blunt, or anything like that, but if you're eating 3 meals a day, you're going to be fat and you're going to be spiritually dead. Your brain's not going to work right. Your gut's not going to work right. Your digestive system's not going to work right because we're overloading our system because of the food pyramid that they've forced upon us. The food pyramid has made America fat. And the shit that they put in the food with all the fetal cells and everything in the modification of food enhancement, taste, flavor enhancements, those kinds of things, that's all fetal based. All that drive and need, I gotta have that burger or that Chick-fil-A or that whatever, that's all fetal based stuff. Alchemy. That's alchemy. And people have problems when I start talking about alchemy and how it's infiltrated our world. Even to an extent, this stuff, if it's not done right, it's alchemy. Young Living, some of that stuff, it is, people don't realize that the fallen are the ones that brought alchemy to the world. We weren't supposed to know the happenings of heaven, what goes on in heaven, in the heavens. But they brought that knowledge down to earth and they corrupted us with it. No, I didn't read Soylent Green. I didn't watch the movie, but I know about it and I know exactly what it is. And some people still haven't heard of it. And that's some of the things that I've been like talking to the taxi drivers about. I'm like, dude, look up Soylent Green. You know what my favorite line is right now, Jennifer? And people laugh at me. But it's like, it's not a laughing matter. But when I say I know too much, people laugh at me. But it's like, some people need to realize that God does talk to people and reveal things to people. Oh, one thing that gets me about God is how he snapped. No wonder everything's moving. How he hold on. Shoot. I've had to redo everything from my setup for my studio. And tape has been added to something and it fell off. So I had to fix it. Okay, sorry. Oh, that one fell off too? No wonder it's not working. What the heck happened? Can't take you anywhere. Holy cow. Okay, let's try that. That's not going to hold either. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and I've been taking pictures every week of my wound for posterity. I didn't even learn what that word was until I played. If I start working out, Jen, I've been looking at my body the past couple of days and I'm like, look at that. Look what God has done to me. I just can't get over it, Jen. I'm telling you. But what's so scary, though, is let's see if I can get it in here. This is kind of in the way here. Let's see if I can. Now, mind you, I'm probably in a. I'm probably in a. Last year, I was in 38s waist. Last year, up until probably November, December. So in 38s, then I went to 36s. And then once I hit the beginning of the year, that's when I lost all the weight, the rest of the weight. And then all this happened. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah. Yeah. Ready for battle. There's something that I learned about the intercessory prayer part of being a part of that, was that when we do that and we put ourselves in the gap and we put ourselves in the breach and we become that person that God uses to fix the wall, the breach, the gap, that we stand in that. I keep losing it. I'm trying to stay on focus. Sometimes it's hard, though, because I've just got so much in there, and it just tries to get out as quick as it can before I lose it. Battle. Ready for battle. Battle. That's where I was going. Where was it going with it? Being able, I think that we are supposed to be on the move. Not we're supposed to be like the disciples, going from place to place. I don't consider myself a disciple. I don't know if that's going to be in my vocabulary or something that God's going to do. I don't know. I don't know if that's for the now or if that was for the then. But I know that I'm being called. And I'm trying to understand what I'm being called to. And now that I know that I'm on the right track. Oh, the size. Now I'm in I cannot wear, I think there's, let me see. I'm trying to get a grasp on this because it's so extreme. Jennifer, I can't even begin to tell you how extreme it's been. Okay, they were. These are 34s. Okay? These are 34s, and I cannot put them on without having suspenders on or a belt to hold them on. Because why do I only have one stinking bar and I'm still live streaming? Oh, there's two. Anyways, so now what I think I'm in, I don't even think I'm a 32, Jen. I think I'm a 30 or a 28. I've never worn that. Except maybe when I was like 10, maybe. My highest size was a 44 waist at 300 pounds. Twice in my lifetime. And both times I lost it by myself in my own way. I didn't go on a diet. I didn't do it the doctor's way. I did it my way. And you know what I did? I got a job. I got a job that was a physical job, and I used it. They paid me to lose weight. That's the way I looked at it because that's what it was. They provided the job that was a physical job that provided a way for me to make money while I was losing weight. And I utilized it. That was the most sexually active I was ever in my life. I was just like, I was feeling good. But my body was just happy, you know? Yeah, I'm like, now what I'm looking forward to, well, being that I'm not a pig anymore, except for certain candy. Sanders dark chocolate caramels. Oh my god, died for. They're so good. It should be against the law for that candy to be on the shelf. Try it. It's $10. It's expensive, but it's good. Mm. Salted caramels. Dark chocolate salted caramels. They're so good. Pop one in my mouth. I'll usually, the most I'll eat is four. That's like a king size candy bar for me. But I don't do well when I do that much. It's so good. And then, what is my other problem? Are these? I need to stop those. They just got garbage in them. But I like the fizzy and I like the flavor. I just wish I could find them without the energy junk in it. But anyways, I am looking forward to this. I'm not sure what days I'll be doing it. Hopefully, I can start tomorrow night. Um, and then tomorrow I find out what time my surgery is on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, let's see, I'll get my pump off my leg tomorrow at my wound care tomorrow at 4. Then get ready for surgery the next day. Get my wound closed up. Get patched up. They're going to boot me up. I got my boot ready. I only got to wear it like 3 days and then I had to take it off and go to crutches again. It's totally sucked. So I'll get booted up with stitches and I can start using my leg, like a little bit pressure, crutches, but with the boot too. And then start my physical therapy, not this week probably, but the next week, and get my leg, because basically, I mean, I can like my foot, okay, I can go like this, but I can't go up. I can't pull the Achilles needs therapy because it did get some damage, just not lacerated. It didn't get completely torn up, but it did get some damage. So it needs to rebuild itself. So that's the only thing that I'll really be, getting the therapy and building up that back calf muscle and the Achilles again. But I'm totally up for that. Well, see, what happened was the infection was in my ankle. Told them that the whole time. And then a week before they found the infection, I fell on my leg, my bad leg. I slipped, like got my right leg caught up, and I had to full force fall on my left leg. But what I tried to do was keep the bones in place, like the calf bone to the heel is how I tried to stabilize it instead of falling on the foot and then capsulating it either way. I hit it with my heel. So what that did was it slammed that infection I think is what happened, is it slammed that infection and it shot it up my leg. And by the time the next day came and I went to the doctor, the urgent care, the next day, a new, brand new, bigger hole opened up on my leg. And I knew shit was going on then. I knew that's, and that's when they found the infection. They sent me in for the MRI with the contrast. They found it. They set up the emergency extraction of the infection. And then, it's just been, it was hell from the beginning, but that's when hell really started. And then hell finally ended, not this past Friday, but the Friday before that. So last week was a fairly decent week, other than the spiritual stuff from everything else. Um, and yeah, so it's been really, and even I'll give you another example of Christians and the Christian attitude, and I just have no room for them anymore. And I'm just going to call it out for what it is now, because all I've seen is absolute. I I don't know how people sleep at night. I don't know how they can think that they're going to heaven sometimes by how people treat other people. I just don't. I would be mortified if I hurt somebody in the ways that people have hurt me recently. Um, I can't believe I'm still here, except by the grace of God. Um, the false Christians really disturb me because they think they know who God is. And they think that by reading the Bible that they can know who God is. But if God doesn't know your heart, He's not going to reveal anything to you, to anybody that isn't seeking His heart. You might be able to find information, but you're not going to get revelation. You're not going to get the mysteries revealed to you. And I believe that He does reveal His mysteries to those who believe in Him and who He is, and that actually seek His face. Like Greg Harvey, Green Beard 117. I think you might have checked him out one time yet on D Live, because I think you came over there because it was like, I don't know, it was weird. But I can't reiterate enough to follow Greg Harvey, because he's another one that truly seeks God's face. And you know that you know now when you meet those people, you know. And we all struggle with stuff. And he actually did something to me online and made me look foolish online to everybody, all of his followers. And I was devastated. And here I was trying to reveal truth. And in one fell swoop of him making a funny, and it was funny, but it was uncalled for and he shouldn't have done it. And he thought he was funny about it. But, and he was even like, in the email, because I had sent him an email about it, and he was even like, "You're not upset about that, really? You're not upset, are you?" Yes, I am, because in one fell swoop, everything that I've researched and been talking about with your group of people, you just threw it out the window with one thing by making me look foolish. And everything that I'd been working hard and doing all my research and speaking all of my truth, you just negated it in one funny. meme, and he just didn't get it until God showed him the next day. I mean, I deleted. I got off of all of his platforms because that was a lowball hit, and I felt very, yeah, it was weird. But I let God handle it, and He did. Greg reads a devotional, every day that he does a show. Um, there is something about D Live that you have to do. And let me show you real quick. It's called the Authenticator, and it's in your app store, in the Play Store. And the Authenticator, let me see, where is it? Tech. The Authenticator is, see the little gray dot in the upper right corner? You got the QR scanner thing. See the authenticator icon? It's a little gray and black. If you go in it looks like a dial, like a C dial. And it looks like it. But anyways, if you go and you download that, that is, and then tie it walks you through, and tie that into your D Live, that will stop the glitching. That's the only way that I found that keeps me from getting in that glitched thing with the D Live. And it really is great because I keep trying to tell people this and they don't listen to me on D Live. Well, it keeps glitching on me. I'm like, you guys don't listen to me. Why don't you listen to me? But if you get that app and then you get your D Live information into it or whatever you got to do, what it does is it's like it's a alternative pathway, password pathway that eliminates all that glitchy stuff, and it takes you right in. And as long as you do that when it asks you to, that's when like DLive does its updates and you got to redo it and it won't let you in, or it won't let you post messages. It won't let you, it's weird. But this little thing right here fixes it all. It just fixes it. So get that and try that, and if that works, perfect. If not, once I get back to where I have money and then I can pay for my streaming, then I can get everything I can do at the same time. But that's been the only thing that really works for me. And I try to tell more people about it, especially on D Live. But he's also on, no, he's not on Cloud Hub right now, but he's on Rumble. He's on Rumble and he's on Facebook. Except you won't get the music on Facebook like you do on D Live, but you will on Rumble. And he's also on Twitch. I think he's on Twitch. No, Foxhole. Foxhole and Rumble. You can find him on there as well. And those are really great chat rooms too, because a lot of the people that were in the D Live chat also go to those chats. So you're still connected to the chat in D Live, which is the main group of the intercessory prayer people. Yeah, I mostly stream on D Live just because I can play music there. I can play whatever I want musically. And I don't get the copyrighted thing like I do on YouTube. So YouTube is strictly you can't use any music because they'll copyright you and D you and kick you out. And then you won't have a platform anywhere. And also you have to watch words, and you can't use like the jab stuff. You can't talk about those. You still can't talk about C-19. You still can't talk about voting. You still can't talk. I mean, there's just lots of things on YouTube that are throttled and you can't do. And I'm just waiting for platforms to open up where you can. So I'm trying to, you have to have certain things on Rumble and other platforms that you have to pay in order to stream. And until I'm working that, I just have to wait until I'm working and buy all that stuff again. So I can stream on all of them, because then I can just set them up. And everybody uses OBS, but I don't like OBS because it's too technical and I don't want to go there. I've got too much in my mind to try and put OBS in there too. I just don't have room for it. There's no room. My file cabinets are full. Oh, good Lord. It's already 2.5 hours. I can't believe I've been talking for 2.5 hours. Now you can't talk about cancer on YouTube. They just changed it today. That tells you something, doesn't it? Yeah. And I know all about that too because we know what cancer is. Don't say it. Starts with a P though. Ends with an S. And it's in old dictionaries before 1800. If you want to look up the word virus in a dictionary that's older than 1800, that will tell you exactly what cancer is. Um, yeah, even in the chat. That's how they're getting people too. And I've noticed some streamers cut off the chats because they don't want people screwing it for them. Just, just, and that's what they do with the bots. They send the bots in to do that. That's how they shut people down, is through the chat a lot of times, just by sending in bots to do that. Yeah, it's crazy. But TikTok is, I would say, if you're not on TikTok, get on TikTok because that's where all the news is. That's where everything is going on, is TikTok. You're getting everything. You're getting all the alien disclosure. You're getting all the moon landing stuff. You're getting all the, see, everything's been released, but people still aren't believing it because they think that it's fake news. And I just think it's funny because it's all um, secret stuff that was secret before that's not secret anymore because of the disclosure. And I think a lot of that is because of Trump. And even though I don't follow Trump, um, he's just the lesser of two evils. And he's the one that's working with the Pleiadians. And I know this for a fact because of his ties to Tesla. There's lots of things that people don't want to look at or talk about when it comes to Trump. And although he is the lesser of two evils, he's still helping to bring about AI and the Antichrist. Not directly, but indirectly. Just by being a part of working with the fallen. Because there's certain aspects of the fallen that people forget about. It's like you have, certain levels of powers in that. And then you also have, it's like we have like the Satanists, we have the Luciferians, we have the Pleiadians, we have the aliens, we have um, the Freemasons, we have the witches and the warlocks, we have the Getty Museum, we have the Smithsonian. This is what I mean. My motto right now is I know too much. And when I say that to people, they laugh at me. And I'm like, you laugh? You scoff? Really? Because they don't believe that I don't know what they believe, and I really don't care because I know I'm intelligent, and I know that I hear from God, and I know that God reveals things to me that he doesn't reveal to them. Because I seek God's face. I seek the Father's heart. I seek for God to create a clean heart in me. I seek to have a clean pineal gland so that all the light can come in. I do not hide anything from God. And people don't understand that. I don't understand this partial belief in God without taking those final steps into the throne room. I don't understand that, Jennifer. I don't. I don't understand how people can profess something that they've never been witness to. How can you say you know God and you've never been in the throne room? How can people say that? Yeah, but it's not going to be a laugh. And that's why I'm so excited for what God has me on, because this witness that He has me getting ready to do for my testimony and my witness to minister to other people, because I'm a minister now, to minister to other people, is that I'm glad too, Jennifer. I don't want to fit in, because it's nothing but ugliness and wickedness and betrayal and hidden agendas and ulterior motives and ugliness and rudeness and non accountability and lying and cheating and fornication and adultery. Everything that's on the 10 Commandment list is everywhere around us. And nobody follows the 10 Commandments. But I'll tell you what, Jen, I'll tell you what, something I learned, and I was dumbfounded by it. But my son does not believe in God. He believes in a higher power, mind you. But he doesn't believe in God. But you know what he told me? My roommates don't even believe in the 10 Commandments. They tell me that I'm legalese for believing in the 10 Commandments. But my son told me that he believes and abides by the 10 Commandments now. And this has been within the past year that he's done this. He doesn't believe in God, but he believes in the 10 Commandments. How? Except knowing what a tenant is through video games. My son knows what a tenant is, which is a type of creed. And I think that he picked the best creed he could have found anywhere. The 10 Commandments, really? A God-inspired thing, written by God, by the finger of God. That he doesn't believe in God, but he believes in the 10 Commandments. That is the most amazing thing I've ever seen God do, Jennifer. I am completely dumbfounded by it. And I'm so thrilled, because all that tells me is that my son is in God's plan. And that God has a plan for my son. And I had to give him my son because of Isaac and Jacob. I had to. I had to give him. I had to give my life of my son to my God. And I trust him with it. Because I know I messed it up. But we've reconciled this year, you know. And I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of how he's gone from point A to point B in his life. And somehow I've lost my t-shirt. There it is. Yeah, it's been quite the emotional day. Excuse me. But I think what I'm going to do is I may, until I can get, hello, whoever's joined, and if that's Cameron, my son, hi, Cam. Um, yeah, but anyways, I'm super excited for him because I've had visions of him. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it, Jennifer. That's exactly how I feel about it. And it's like I even tell my son, it's like when I pray for you, son, I don't pray against your free will ever. Because that's something that Christians get wrong. You can't pray against somebody's free will. God doesn't do that. Why would we think that we could do that? We can never do that to another person. That's not our job. That's for God, not us. And I just keep praying. And I tell my son, I said, if you want to know who God is, or you're questioning who God is, ask him to reveal himself to you. And he will, in a way that you won't expect. And it will be a profound experience because it will be just for you, and only you will know because he will reveal it to you. And that's what is so amazing about God, is how he works so individually with each of us, because we're all individual. How we think, how we pray, how we feel, how we act, how we do, how we be, how we are, we're all different. And it's like, even an atheist, I would say, even if you're an atheist, you can still ask. If there is a God out there, show me who you are. So easy. That's all it takes. And I think that was part of and I'm trying to bring it back, what God showed me about my testimony and how I'm supposed to witness to people. Because it's about that. It's not about sin. It's not about Jesus. I mean, I know that that's the ultimate, how we get to point A to point B, but we need to know who God is before we understand it all. We have to know that there is a God. Where is he? Who is he? What is he? And how does it apply to me? And I think that in itself, I'm so excited, Jennifer, because it opens up something in the mind that walks away in concept. Because that's where everybody gets caught up in the God thing, is the sin part. And it's like everybody's got it wrong. That's where we end up, but that isn't where we go. When we go to God, we go to find God, to help us live in this corrupt world, because everything's stacked against us. And until we find God, we're doomed. And until somebody speaks up and says, hey, have you checked out God? You don't have to live like this. And it's like, my thing has always been, come as you are. Come as you are, not as you ought. None of us are perfect. None of us are sinless. Everybody sins every single day. Every Christian, every human, every believer, every patriot, every God, every God-fearing anybody. Everybody sins every day. Nobody is perfect or free from sin. We are protected because of Yeshua, and we have a way to be rid of it easily, but it's still a matter of the heart, and it's a matter of taking it to God and knowing what it is and how it's supposed to be, because it's supposed to be the sin part. That's where people get it all wrong, because God wants a relationship with us, with our minds, with our hearts, not with our sin. And I can say that in an aspect, he doesn't care about the sin, he cares about the individual and the relationship with the individual. The sin part is something that happens through the cleansing of the heart, the mind, the gut, and that comes along the way. God just wants us to talk to him so that he can talk to us. And Jesus is the reason that we can go directly to the Father, because he's holding the door open. And some people don't find that out till later. And that's when the Sam part, and that's when the Jesus part, and that's when they come to God. But they still learn to have a relationship with God in the beginning, because that's the most important thing, is to find God and start that relationship. And everything else falls into place. It's just a matter of, we're created beings by our Creator that wants a relationship with us, the Created. He made us to be who we are. He made us. He made us. It's like we make our children by copulating, man and woman. We make a child. It's like he created us and wants a relationship with us. And the fact that people don't want a relationship with him blows me away, because there is nothing in this world that can compare to the love of God. Nothing. Babies, newborns is the closest thing. Having a baby, having a newborn, is the closest thing to that concept of knowing God. Because you're in that creating force of creating another living being that you love and adore, and it came from you, and it's part of you, and you know what I'm saying? We're like babies to God, toddlers, that he just wants us to run to him and jump in his arms. Daddy, 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 daddy. Guess what I did today? That's my favorite thing. And I never called God by daddy, and I still haven't. But some people do. I'm not there yet. I don't think I ever called my dad daddy. I think I called him father and dad. It's interesting. I only knew him up through age 11, so not as an adult, but I don't remember calling my dad daddy ever. Yeah, and their eyes, and it's back to the pineal gland, because through the elite and the foods that they've poisoned us with, um, they've killed all our pineal glands. So how's the light going to get in to any of these people? And that's what's been interesting too, is to see. It's like watching. What's interesting, and you see it. You see it with me, and it's so profound, the weight change and everything that's happened to me. But it's also me watching other creators who have been fat and piggish like me, and eating all the time and 3 meals plus a day. Our bodies cannot handle that. Our bodies cannot make enough bile to do all that food. We're not, our bodies aren't meant to eat that much food. We have enough bile to handle a portion. at one time eating. So if you're eating second and thirds, you have enough bile for one serving. So consequently, when you eat that much food on top of that much food, guess what's going to happen? Constipation from hell. And a lot of people, and I might do a specific video show just on that. Are you constipated? Are you foggy brained? Do you have trouble going to the bathroom? You might be a pig. That might get me banned on YouTube. But it's like, you might eat like a pig, I guess is the correct way to put it. Have you seen that Oliver guy um, on the Richmond, north of Richmond? Jennifer, have you seen that? The guy that song that guy did of the Richmond, north of Richmond? Talk about hardcore. I wonder who it is that's in there watching. Somebody else is watching. I see you. Why haven't you spoken? You could wave. Or are you too shy? Or are you spying? Are you spying on me? I think it's funny when people don't say anything. I always greet people when I jump in a room. I'm never lurking. Although when I do lurk, I say I'm lurking. But I really think that you'll like, if you can get Rumble or you can get Foxhole, Jennifer, I really strongly encourage you to find Greenbeard. He definitely, oh, that Devo that he did like the next day, I was telling you, like the devotional. It was so funny because it was like sticks and stones, and he was giggling through the whole thing because I don't think he read it prior to start, and it was after I had sent the email and after he replied, and then the next day God showed him what he did, and it was the most and it was God showed me something over that it wasn't in my mind. It wasn't just me being sensitive. It wasn't just me having a problem with what he did. It was the repercussions of what he failed to realize he was doing. But the fact that the Devo that was set for the next day was specifically about not like sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me, talked exactly about that words can hurt you and hurt other people if not done in the right way. And basically, God showed him what I told him he did to me. God showed him what he did. And it was very profound for me. And I saw how profound it was for him as well. Because I had said, I'm not even going to come back to your chat for a while. But I just happened, God, I guess, told me to go. And I was watching and I was dumbfounded that God cared enough for me to make it right. To his whole audience, too, because it was outed to the whole audience and it was fixed to the whole audience. And he even specifically said my name during the broadcast. And the little giggling in between was God showing him what I had spoken of in my email to him. I could tell that that is exactly what God had showed him. It was the most amazing thing to be a part of, knowing that God cared enough for me just over that silly thing that was huge to me, was silly to him, to Greg, and very minute, but it was huge to me. And even though it was minute, it was still huge because of the community and what I had been working on so hard, which was flat Earth theory. It's not a theory; it's in the Bible. It says we live on a flat plane. We're not on a globe. Oh, that might get me, but that um, and he doesn't believe in the flat Earth, and that's fine, And I just keep trying to bring more truth, more light to the whole moon stuff, and everything. I'm not going to talk about it because they'll probably take me. Oh, you're going to get dinged for that one too. Um, so it was really interesting to see how immediate God can work in our lives to fix broken things. And I consider myself one of those people that has a broken soul, and that it can only be fixed by God, and that He's the fixer of broken souls. And it was very profound what happened, but it's like it was another one of those putting somebody on a pedestal, and I even told Greg that I had put him on a pedestal and God knocked it down. And how He does that every time that I put somebody up on a pedestal, He knocks them down. And how He does it is quite amazing every time. And I am privy. I know. It's hurting my eyes. I know that God is speaking to me because of things like that. When I speak the truth to people and I don't get my feelings involved, or at least I try not to, and I try to speak the truth, God finds a way to make it happen. And I'm so thankful for that. So thankful for that. Oh my goodness, it's 2 o'clock. Whew. Wow. Almost 3 hours. I guess I needed to do a live stream. I just wonder. I wonder if Cloud Hub is having problems with the chat, I think. And I think that's why Greg hasn't been streaming there, was because of the problems with the chat. So, probably YouTube and DLive. And as soon as I can get back on their $10 plan, then I can get back to 3 streaming platforms. And I'll do that. But I'm going to go, Jen, because I got to get my leg up and lay down. But I'm going to shoot for tomorrow night. Way not this late. I totally wasn't going to do this tonight and made the decision at the last minute to do it. Just because of where I was spiritually. I've gone through communion today. I've done an oil of anointing today. I've rededicated my life to God again today. There's just a lot of things that happened today that I know are escalating me into what God's doing next. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I will be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, but it's probably going to be before 10. Because this is late, it's rough. And plus I'm not reaching people like I could if I come on earlier. So I'm hoping earlier I can maybe get in a 5 or 6 o'clock stream starting next week so that I can catch a bigger crowd and be able to talk about things. And I hope you can join me. I always look forward to seeing you, and I'm so glad you popped in. And thanks for hanging out for 3 hours. Oh my God, Jen. Thank you. I'll be praying for you too. I've got you on my list, and that's another thing I'm going to talk about as I go forward with the intercessory prayer. Is I want people to speak out for me to add them to the list, so that we can, I can, and I say we now because it's like me and God, so that we can pray for people, because that's where I know I'm supposed to be, is praying for people. And when people tell me no, oh man, it so hurts, but it reminds me of how God was rejected. And it reminds me that it's Him that's being rejected and not me. And He keeps reminding me that. And it's nice to be able to look at that and depend on that and know that it's truly Him that they don't want to hear. Yes, thank you so much for chatting and being a part of the live stream, Jennifer. I appreciate it. It means a lot because having people in the chat asking questions and talking about topics is what educates us, including me. I'm not beyond learning more. I know a lot and I know too much, but I don't know enough. I'll always want to know more. I'll always want to know more. It'll never stop. It'll never stop. But thanks so much for joining me, Jen. Thanks everyone for watching. Anybody that comes in and you're invisible person that won't say hi, hello to you. Um, on to bigger and better things. God is definitely moving in my life, and I think it's pretty amazing what He's doing because I'm free. I'm not free from sin. I still sin every day, but I'm free from living with it because I can give it to Him every day and be done with it, and then I don't have any garbage to carry around with me anymore, or anybody else's garbage, by not putting up with the dominating or the domination, the intimidation, or the manipulation. So that isn't happening anymore either. So there's quite a few breakthroughs. But Jen, have an awesome rest and an awesome week. And I'm on the road to recovery. And I'm on my way, moving on up and moving on out. Take care. Good night. Have a blessed week. And I hope I see you pop in when I pop on. And I will be reading your email here in just a little bit because I'm going to play around and get something to drink and hit the hay because I don't. Oh, yeah, I do got to get up early. Shit, what am I thinking? Uh-oh. It's glitching. I'm out of here. Bye. There it goes.